And we're recording. So quick hiring update. An internal candidate we are interviewing this week. If everything goes well, hopefully they'll be on the team soon. It'd be fantastic. It'd be a great ad. Pipeline is not great, but we've got some candidates moving through. Product manager accepted the offer and she will be joining on 8/12. The position is going to be shared with distribution. I'm not sure what the balance is going to be there, so we'll figure it out as time goes on. Any questions on hiring? Cool. All right. I submitted Fastboot. Both Christopher and Eric are looking at it now, and I noted in the Fastboot that we're still hiring folks. Our roadmap is ever changing, and I think it will continue to be that way with the memory team. So the goals that we put in for the Fastboot are fairly nebulous at the point. I put an example in there. If we were to meet like next month or something, maybe we would just focus entirely on getting Puma out into production. So as we get closer to, if we get picked for Fastboot, as we get closer to the date, we'll narrow in on what we want to deliver or accomplish as a team when we meet up, most likely in Poland, in Camille's hometown. So the decision will be made on August 15th. I think once Christopher gets back from PTO, he and Eric will meet and start going through the submissions. I have no idea how many submissions there are. I've just heard rumors of a handful, so we've got a 1 in however many submission chance of actually getting ours chosen. So any questions on Fastboot? Nope. All right, cool. On to the next. There were some discussions about planning, about how we prioritize, how we choose what to work on next, and I figured I'd jump into the board. So we have multiple boards. So this is the milestone board. This is how we plan out current and future milestones, and we're actually getting to the point where we can start planning out future milestones. And all of the issues should be in priority order from top down. So if you are looking for work and you don't know what to work on, the next thing you can work on is whatever is top in the list and not assigned. And I look at this on a pretty regular basis to make sure that they remain in priority order. Typically look for the P1 indicator, move those to the top, and discuss with product management, discuss with team what's most important to make sure they are represented here in top-down priority order. And I've updated the memory team homepage, or at least I have an MR out there to further describe this and the other boards that we work with. So any questions on that? And the other thing that's not great about this is it only shows one project at a time. So this board that I just showed doesn't actually show some of the Puma efforts that we have going on that are in the infrastructure team project. So we have to bounce around between boards. All right. Next thing, so I posted in the memory team channel, I think earlier this week, the Q3 OKRs. They're very similar to Q2. We've got a hiring OKR, try and finish up hiring the team. We have a goal in there to hire 1. I think we'll get that done. It's been very hard to even find qualified candidates for the memory team. We are low in the priority amongst all the teams that are looking for engineers right now. And there's just not a lot of candidates out there. There's a lot of competition. So we've got a hiring goal. I think we'll meet it this quarter. Puma goal, get Puma out into production by the end of the quarter. Hopefully we beat that by a lot. And then a throughput goal. So we've talked about smaller MRs are better, making sure that we try to hit the corporate goal, I believe, is around 10 MRs per engineer per month. Or if you break it down, it ends up being like 3/4 of an MR per day per engineer or something like that. So we'll continue to work on our throughput metrics. The graphs for the memory team are pretty awesome right now because we went from almost nothing. We've got an exponential curve over the 3 months that they've been tracking these things. So I'm sure we'll flatline over the next couple months. So take a look at the OKRs. Let me know if you have any questions. And any questions at the moment on those? Nope. All right. PTO reminders. I'm out tomorrow. I'll be back on Monday. And Camille is out next week and into the following week. And Camille, you're up next. We continue to work on 12.2.
Yeah, so I'm not sure like what to comment here. Maybe you have any questions. Like I think the biggest worry for me is like that we are like being blocked on further like testing dev in different configurations, because I think like what I would like to do next is basically get these two items that I mark in the board to like resolved. So like do more like testing, measurement, and things like that. Because we have preliminary data, and it says that like Puma works great. It has higher memory footprint in the current configuration. It was kind of expected. But if I want to, I want to like reconfigure the GitLab.org to use different configuration to have the same capacity. We could do it, but we're gonna be testing that in the blind. So I'm actually being blocked by the lack of the application level metrics, because these application level metrics are kind of crucial to understand in detail how Puma works on dev. It's kind of like also the problem for the ops GitLab.net that we enabled Puma on. It seems that like we are not scraping application level metrics on this environment neither. So I am kind of like pinging Jarv like every day, like asking, hey Jarv, can you help me? And he says, I thought it's gonna be 10 minutes, but it seems it's not gonna be 10 minutes. So I mean that this is kind of like the blocker, and it's blocking because I think that like it prevents me to like to write some summary of our like dev GitHub.org enablement, because we are not seeing any problems with the Puma, but I would like to show like some actual graph on how it's behaving, and I have very limited data set to like to present today, and I would like to have more data sets. And it seems that like we're just gonna close this epic for enabling Puma on dev, but I will not feel confident that this is enough, like with the data that we have today, to say we are ready to go to the canary, or like we are ready to go to the staging. Maybe we are ready. It also doesn't seem that like we have any blockers, like major missing development pieces, but it's more like a gut feeling rather than like being data focused here. So I'm trying to push that further on that.
Yeah, seems like in your absence, it'd be a good thing for Alexi to follow up on, since there's a huge overlap with Jarv. I think you all are probably on the same time zone. So Alexi, do you want to pick those up and continue to follow up with Jarv to get us unblocked there?
Yeah, Camille suggested me a couple of issues to pick up. There are basically some inconsistencies with metrics, so I'm gonna start with them, and hopefully they will help us to gather better, more correct data, right? So I have issues at least for a week.
Yeah. Sure. No, I meant mostly on these ones that are blockers that we have to rely on Jarv. I mean, I can ping him too, but if there's any questions or any further follow-up, especially during your time zone from Jarv, you should be the point person there if he has any questions for us. Okay.
Yeah, if it will be needed to pair someone from the team, I'm ready to talk with Jarv, of course. Okay.
Okay. All right, we'll follow up in your absence, Camille.
So about the side key performance, I think like Chinyu gonna be mostly working on them, and it still seems like that of this to be like quite big priority to get some of these items being resolved this release.
Yep.
Grant.
Hello. Just a few quick updates from our perspective. Ones that really affect memory. We've got two kind of tasks done in the last week. We've got scheduled pipelines against pre and people who are running frequently every night, and they will post to the QA performance channel. That channel's a bit noisy at the moment, so you might have to keep scrolling back to see the right results. I'm actively trying to make that a bit nicer, and that should hopefully be nicer soon. But I'll be keeping an eye on the two environments, and I've kind of confirmed with Camille, and certainly it seems like Puma's performing as expected compared to not Puma. So that's good for that one. That was one of the 12.2 ones, so we're good to get that closed. We've just closed the test datasets one, which was a request from Camille to make life easier for project import. So the README's now been, it's another thing, the README's been updated for the framework, and that contains various ways now to import a project to make it easier. So before we were just doing GitHub, it was like hours to import projects. Now with Camille's fixes and the new process, it should only take 10 minutes. So for everyone who needs to test performance against an environment, either locally or on the cloud or whatever, it should only take 50 minutes really to get up and running. So that's a big improvement. And it's just in general performance, the performance error is just continually being updated. So it's got better error detection now, and just a better README. And then yeah, the other thing was we noticed there's some endpoints being slow against GitLab in general. I spent some time this week kind of investigating what's going on there. In particular, it was the MR page itself that was one of the bigger failures, and that one is that was weird. I don't know why it takes so long, but that had specifically for the diff tab, that was taking 45 seconds to render for a large MR of 6,000 commits. So that's incredibly slow. So that has just been raised, and hopefully we'll get something out of that. And if it's memory related, I'll make sure to put feedback in the team and say, yeah, the memory is just exploding when this page is loaded. That's it really from quality. If there's any questions.
No, I've been punting these issues that you find with your testing on the slower endpoints out to 12.3 and 12.4 for milestones, that we can focus this milestone on the import and the Sidekick issues that we have.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. The issues have just been raised are just simply, well, not so, some of them I've tried to put as much detail as I can in them, but they all call out that these endpoints or these pages are just incredibly slow. Here's all the metrics we can gather at this time. No idea why, because the API, particularly for the MR page, is completely fine. But I say fine, it's much quicker. It's still quite slow in general terms, but compared to that page, it's bizarre. So yeah, that makes sense. So yeah, I agree with that.
And that's it. It's the end of the agenda. Any other topics anybody wants to bring up? Nope. All right. Well, everybody have a good afternoon, evening, morning, rest of your day.